All right. In that case, early warning. I'll do the countdown. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Push play. An excerpt from the Ted Hazonko Symposium on Science and Society, May 18th, 2983. Hello. I am Joseph Avon, and I'm a sociology professor at the Pagliai's Institute of Advanced Mathematics. I'm here to talk about alien life, but not the kind that most of the other speakers have discussed thus far. I'm here to talk about intelligent life, that rare thing that we don't run into too often. Now, some of you might doubt that there is intelligent life anywhere else in the universe, given how daft we are, but bear with me. Usually when people think of intelligent aliens, they generally think of one of three things: history, media, or dusty old ruins. Movies, games, experiences in theater often involve stories where humans encounter strange people from beyond our current realm of knowledge, some of which are aliens. Some of them are from alternative dimensions, but most traditionally it's aliens. History, yes. Twice humanity has encountered and been attacked by beings from other worlds that seemed quite bent on our destruction. The first of which was the assault on Earth by a seemingly autonomous battlecruiser of some sort in the year 2114. And then there was the whole Yixion War a little over a century later that resulted in the Mirimihaki Empire bombing them to extinction in revenge. Then there's those dusty old ruins. Other than the very much alive and hostile thinking aliens I already mentioned, humanity stumbled across these guys, these dead civilizations, and other signs of dead intelligent life for the first time in 2190. Settlers on New Pakistan stumbled across the remains of a 100,000-year-old village. People that had inhabited the village were discovered to have died out because of climate shifts brought on by meteor impact. They froze to death on this otherwise very hot and humid planet, like roughly 90% of all other life on that planet. Since then, literally hundreds of signs of intelligent life have popped up over the centuries. Most are only primitive tool users, leftovers of civilizations that existed as far back as 20 million years ago. But there have been a few discoveries of much more advanced civilizations, such as the fallout-covered planet of Tellus, where the locals nuked themselves to extinction about the same time as humanity was first discovering how to create hyperspace rifts, or the many artifacts strewn around the Circassia system, where around 300 million years ago, a civilization of immense technological capabilities colonized every body in the system and built grand wonders of engineering, the likes of which we can now barely understand. But they, too, died out, and we don't know why. But all these things, all these grave sites, they tell us one very important thing. Humanity has been lucky. Very lucky. And yes, so, welcome back to Stellar Renaissance, everybody!
Hooray!
Hooray! So today we are, on our little intro screen, we are starting with a little map of the known galaxy here. Now, just note this is a very small section of the entirety of the galaxy, but I'd like to give you guys a little sort of tour of sorts, because you guys are going to be leaving the core systems here, and so I figured having a little bit of knowledge about what's out there might be a good idea. How about that, guys? You cool with that?
Yep.
Sounds good. Yep.
All right, cool. So first off, I got sort of concentric rings. I can even talk here. So the each ring area is sort of about 25 billion. You can see on the left there, and it's dividing up the core, the mid, and the near, and the rim regions of the known space here. And on the right of the little diagram, you can see the various empires that have control of these areas. Now, these are not everything within these big blobs is controlled by them, but more, this is the general territories that they have primary sway. So there's the major empires. There's also a few smaller powers that are sort of distributed around here and there. But so first off, is there any questions?
No, not for me.
Okay, cool. So the current mission you guys are on will be taking you to a place called Green Haven, and then from there to a planet I think it was called Colossus. Let me double check that. Where's my notes? There's my notes. Yeah, something like that. Maybe that's a Colossus system. But you guys, all these little spaceship dealio here, are basically right here in the middle. And you guys, Green Haven will be approximately out in this area, sort of kind of on the edge of the rim. While the destination for the mission is a little bit further out, so where the little spaceship dealie is here. So that's sort of the general plan for the mission you've been assigned. But we're not quite on the spaceship yet, are we?
No.
So, anyone want to give us a rundown of what happened last time?
As far as I recall, everybody else got into a caper stealing robot.
Yep.
And that was not me. And then got back to the boss's office and met me, and then we got on a ship and traveled to a space station.
Sort of. You got on an elevator.
Oh, right, an elevator.
Because your guys are now on Elcor, and I'm going to go ahead and change our maps here. Elcor is a space station that's suspended within hyperspace. So are you guys all on the thingamajig here?
Yes.
Yes.
So this big giant diagram is probably larger than it needs to be. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out a bit. You feel free to do such. So this is sort of a cross-sectional view of the Elcor space station. And it's massive. It's huge and large. It has about 200,000 people living on it, living and working, and many more that transit through coming and going from Lanton. The station itself has a number of spokes that come out, pop out of the sides, sort of out of that central ring area. Didn't put them on the diagram. So basically, like there and there on the sides. And those connect to portals between hyperspace and real space that are being perpetually held open on the Lanton side. So effectively, the station is floating in hyperspace, but it's also affixed to the surface of the planet in several points. So it rotates about once per day for on Lanton. That's my cool engineering thing of the adventure here.
Very cool.
Yes, so you guys got to the transit terminal at the end of the last episode, got in an elevator, and went down through this portal and into hyperspace. So a little capsule sort of deal. And now you guys are in the little section here on the left. I went ahead and put you guys little icons there. I'm going to zoom back in. There we go. So you guys generally know that there's a ship you're supposed to be going to called the LCS Cairo. I do have it marked here on the little map, and that's your eventual destination. However, At the moment, you guys are stuck in security? Any thoughts on that?
So we're in interdimensional customs.
Kind of. So the elevator opens up. You guys can exit, and you find yourselves in something that's sort of like an airport terminal. There's like a ticket booth where people are checking luggage. There is some doors heading off with large lines in front of them, heading off elsewhere in the station. There's security people wandering around, massive crowds of people coming and going, all sorts of fun stuff. And this sort of situation sort of goes off to their left and right in both directions, all the way around the cylindrical style station here. So you could potentially go back to Lantern without passing through security, but if you want to go to the rest of the station and the spaceships beyond, you will need to go through. So you got a couple maybe important questions you have to ask yourself. One, are you going to be checking any luggage? And two, what line do you get into? Now, there are 3 lines.
Quick question. Do I classify as luggage?
Oh, I'm getting to that, Bill.
Okay.
There are nominally 3 lines. One is for express check. There is the standard check, and there's the robotic check.
I think I just sort of, no questions asked, just head over to the robotic check-in line.
All right, so you're getting into that line. It's very short, so shouldn't take you too long to get through. How about you, Gepwin and Jar? What you guys up to?
So there was a standard check?
Yes.
I guess I'll go standard.
I think I would just choose Express.
Standard.
You're going to try to use Express, Jar?
Yep.
All right. So as you guys get up to lines, you do start seeing a number of signs signifying rules for weapons on station. Generally, they request that you check all weapons, but they do make exceptions if you have the right paperwork.
Well, what's the right paperwork?
Well, you guys are given some passes and such from your boss. So the question is, do they qualify? So do you guys gonna have a look?
Yeah.
All right, then give me a roll. The roll is IQ specifically.
Okay. So I have to roll under 10 then.
All right.
That was not under 10.
Nope, mine was not either.
We all did great.
All you guys think you have the exact proper paperwork to handle the situation. And in fact, Jar, you think you're in the right line, so.
Okay.
All right, so let's
not
go.
a good start.
Let's go with Bill to start off with here. So Bill, you get up to the front of the line pretty quickly, and you are spotted by someone who recognizes you.
Gasp.
He says, "Is that 6577 hex lug there?"
I, very quickly turn my giant menacing red eye towards the person speaking.
All right, it's a guy in a security outfit. So, and you kind of recognize him. You think you've seen him around a few times on previous trips through security you've taken. And you think his name is Melvin.
Yes. Hello. Who is it?
It's me, Melvin. Don't you remember?
Melvin.
Yes.
Hello.
How you doing,
My
man?
human friend Melvin.
How you doing? Going on another trip?
Yes.
All right, step right up. We'll do the normal checks. So first question, are you transiting according to your present owner's will?
Affirmative.
All right. Do you have any contraband items or equipment on your person?
Elaborate.
Anything that'll get you in trouble?
Me? Ha 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 ha.
All right.
No, I do not.
By the way, do you have any? Where are you keeping your heavy pistol? By the way.
The little compartment on the bottom of his spherical body slides open, and a little arm comes out and then just knocks on his body.
So that's what's actually happening here?
Yeah, like I'm gesturing, wordlessly that in here.
Okay. Melvin sort of gives you a closer look, and he is going to make a roll. He rolls a 9. What's his wrong thing. What's his dealio here? And he says, could you open that up for me?
Of course, Melvin. And then, I kind of like tip back a little bit so that he can see inside of my compartment,
all right,
which I am not ashamed of at all.
And I'm guessing he sees the heavy pistol in that case.
Yeah, it's just, in its holster inside of his body.
All right.
And like some books and scraps of paper and weird odds and ends, probably some pennies.
All right. He then says, all right, do you got your paperwork?
And the little arm reaches in, grabs the paper, and hands it to him.
All right. He has a look. Let's see if you can convince him to let you through. And that's not a very good roll for Melvin. He's like, all right, this looks good. Have fun. Don't get into too much trouble, and see you around, all right?
Thank you, Melvin. Always a pleasure.
And he gestures you to the next stage of the security screening, which is actually a booth that you're supposed to enter.
Okay. Can I comfortably fit in it, or is it awkward? I am man-sized.
Yeah,
okay.
It's pretty big, so you can fit
right.
into it. Yeah, so
I carefully tink my way into it.
All right. He shuts the door after you. Pushes some buttons on the side of the booth. It's sort of tinted glass, but you can see out, and you are bombarded with a number of high frequency sound waves and electromagnetic waves that are generally harmless to you, but anyone else.
I start laughing as if it tickles.
But if that was a person in there, it'd probably not be very safe. Then the scan is complete. He gives a thumbs up. The far end, the door on the far side opens, and you are free to enter the rest of the station if you so wish.
I so wish.
All right, go ahead and click on your icon there if you can, and see if you can move it one over. Let's see if that actually works today. Hooray!
Huzzah!
It actually works. All right, so Jar, you're up next because express lane is faster than the normal lane. Sorry, Gepwin.
Aw. Just like the real airport.
All right, Jar, you get up to near the front of the line, and they ask you to empty your pockets into a bin.
The only things I pull out are a cell phone and a pistol.
All right. They look apprehensive, and one of them asks, "Do you have paperwork for that?"
I do indeed.
All right. Do you offer that up?
I just reach into the backpack where I throw everything and hand them whatever I was given to by the boss.
All right. They look it over, but unfortunately, Jar, because this is express security, and you also rolled very poorly before. I'm going to say that they're going to be like, sir, you can't bring that through here. You're going to need to check that.
Could I be directed where I could get it checked?
All right, they motion you towards the main counter, where there's another line where people are putting luggage on a conveyor belt.
All right, I guess I head over to there and follow whatever everyone else is doing.
All right. Very well. Gepwin, while he's doing that, you
Yes.
are starting to get to the front of the line. Roll a perception check to see if you saw what happened to Jar there.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty good. Doo-doo-doo. How much you make by?
And I figured this
Made by
out
3.
by accident, but if you, like, there are buttons on your character sheet next to, like, skills and attributes and whatnot, so it'll just roll it relative to that, so you don't have to worry about.
I still
Like-
haven't gotten around to putting my character sheet in the D20 thing. I have to refer to it on my computer.
Oh, okay.
Doo-doo. Yeah, I did put a bunch of things in, but I don't think I put everything in, so. Anyway. You do notice that Jar is being turned back to have his weapon checked.
Well, I'm in the standard line. Maybe I'm better.
All right. All right. In that case, you do get to the front of the line before Jar finishes his bit of line business, and they are going to ask you to put your things into a bin.
All right. I will rattle my backpack, my small pistol, and all of my survival equipment in the backpack into one of the bins because I'm carrying a lot of junk.
Yep.
And then I'll put my rifle in one of the other bins and kind of wedge it in sideways because I imagine it's too long for one of those airport x-ray bins.
Yes. They are going to ask you for your papers as well.
There you are, good sir. Or madam, since I didn't check which they were.
Some of these cops are one, some of the others, some of them kind of neither. It's kind of hard to tell with cyborgs. They're going to look at your weaponry suspiciously. But they're going. One of them says, "I think we can allow this, but you're going to need to ensure that you follow station rules and make use of this." And they offer up a couple devices for your weapons there that are basically like trigger locks.
Okay. I'm always for gun safety. Thank you.
Yep. They explain that these trigger locks can be will automatically deactivate and fall under your control when you leave the station.
All right. I'll attach them to both my weapons, I guess, and go on through.
All right. They don't really give you too much more problem. Jar, back to you.
Oh boy.
By the way, sometime around this point, you guys have noticed Alex has just kind of vanished. It's not entirely clear what happened to him.
Seems perfectly normal and safe.
It's what I would expect from that scoundrel.
He may have gotten through security quickly and is already off of the station somewhere, for all you know. So Jar, yeah, you get to the front of the desk, and there's a underpaid employee of some sort who's really hating life today, and they look at you and it's like, "Do you have anything to check?"
I do indeed. Just this. I'll not waste any time. That's all I need.
All right, so what are you handing over exactly?
Just the pistol.
All right. They look at you annoyed. "Sir, you have to have this in a container."
Does a backpack count?
Yeah.
I'll just toss it in the backpack and present that to him.
Thank you. They give you a check ticket, and they direct you to put your information for your flight out or wherever you're going to be ending up into the terminal to your side.
Okay, I guess I do that.
Well, guess what, Jar?
Oh boy.
It's time for you to give me a roll. $12.
Oh, you're gonna lose your luggage.
Oh my god.
This might not be very good. Let's look at the thingamajig here. So that you're using a computerized terminal. It is going to give you a bonus because it is nice and easy. But I'm going to double check the actual book here to make sure I'm not putting things too much against you or in favor. All right. So you're going to fail the basic IQ roll. But I was going to give you a +4 because of the ease of use anyway. But you still also fail. Or it's IQ -4 because, and then I was going to give you a +4. So it would have just been IQ to get this one here. So
Computers.
Yeah. So yeah. You because you're low tech level, you're not familiar with this sort of system, and your luggage is now somewhere in the system. But they take it, and it'll be somewhere, hopefully.
So everything in my backpack is kind of just gone.
I'm not going to say it's gone forever, but it may take some effort to track it down.
Okay.
I hope you had a backup weapon.
All right.
Well.
Oops. Go ahead and move
It's
you
good to
down.
see that no matter how many centuries have passed, transit terminals have not improved in the least bit.
It all comes down to that human factor, right, Bill?
Yes. Pathetic humans.
All right. So on the far end of security, you guys do have in view a number of useful informational screens. And by the way, Jar, you can get through security without too many problems once your weapon's out of contention here.
Okay.
So just takes a little bit of time.
Quick question. What do the colors on the map mean? Do they signify anything in particular?
Oh yes, I was going to get to that. So
Okay.
So the pink areas are sort of special transit areas. So that includes hub transit to Lanton, which you guys have just left. The essential elevator shafts in the middle, which is also center of rotation for the station. Oh, excuse me. The ones on the sort of sides are where our docking ports are, and as well as the big one up top. The green areas are sort of general purpose. This is where people live, work, whatever sort of areas. It's the city part of the space station. Then you got the sort of light blue areas, the sort of sky blue areas. Those are sort of utility sections, so there's a lot of machinery there. People work there but don't really live there, sort of stuff. And finally, there's the red areas, which are restricted.
Okay, that's kind of about what I thought, so cool.
Now, the restriction might be because of safety, might be because this is where we keep all the police officers or command and
Just
control.
full to the brim with police.
Yes.
Just stacked shoulder to shoulder, all sleeping peacefully.
All right. So you guys can, if you so wish, spot some information about where the LCS Cairo is, which you can actually see on the map on the upper right.
Yeah, I imagine as soon as I got through security, I went over to, I don't know, flight. What are the screens? Like the screens that list all the flights and all the lists of gates and whatnot.
Yes.
The arrival and departure screen.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yes, there is a departure screen for the LCS Cairo. It looks like it's going to be about 6 hours before its departure.
Okay.
They always tell you to show up 6 hours before your flight, and then security takes 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Unless you show up 10 minutes before your flight.
Yes.
Then security takes 6 hours.
I've been in a situation kind of like that.
I'm not surprised.
I'll tell you about the Denver airport at some point. By the way, it's the airport of death.
Yes.
Mainly because the statues outside. Anyway, so you guys have about 6 hours to get between your current location and the spaceship up there. What do you do?
I just kind of awkwardly turn and wait for my companions to come through security.
All right. Both Xavier and Scott, or Simon, sorry, and Scott come through the security one by one, but Alex seems to be missing.
We have lost one of our companions. The mission is off to a great start.
We either have 6 hours to find him or the ship and trust he's a big boy and he can take care of himself.
I'm sure he just got lost eating some food.
My assumption was human digestive related issues. What shall we do for the next 6 hours, friends? And then I kind of awkwardly lean in.
I'm guessing there's duty-free shops.
I'd have to say you'd be correct there. There's a number of shops between here and the your destination, and you can see some of them presently if you like.
We could all just stroll around, I guess.
Are robots like a common presence? Is this like how it works in like Star Wars, where there's just always sort of robots wandering around and nobody pays attention to them? Or am I like standing out like a sore thumb?
It's not as common as Star Wars, but there are enough that, most busy areas like this would have maybe one or two sort of somewhere around.
I mean, I assume not too many walking eyes with death beams in their faces, but
you're a little unusual.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna walk around and window shop, but I'm sort of like window shopping as a pantomime. Like I'm trying to imitate humans window shopping.
Excellent. What you guys doing?
I should try to find a book or something for the flight, I guess, because I didn't get anything entertaining last episode.
So are you heading into one of the shops?
Yes. See if I can find... I guess we're going to the archaeology planet. So I'll see if I can find any books on alien history or ruins or such.
All right, cool. You find yourself in the Berkshire Hathaway Amazon AOL shop, and it's all reduced to just the first couple syllables of each of those words. But there is a shop there, and it sells books. Some of them are actually like on paper too. It's weird.
Oh, antiques.
Yes. Yeah. So there's still sort of a tradition of cheap paperbacks, especially for folks that are going to places that might not have as frequent electricity, which sometimes happens when people are transiting to the rim.
Makes sense. Well, I guess I shall look for a history or archaeology-ish section.
All right, give me a roll. I'll go Intel +2. All right, you'll be fine. You find something quite appropriate. By some famous scholar, which I don't have a name made up for, but sounds interesting. Maybe that Avon guy in the intro.
Yeah, he sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Yes. Alien cultures and their downfall. Is the title on it, and we'll say it cost you $5.
Sounds good. I shall purchase my book and then go out and join everyone.
All right, so $5 Jar, while Bill's window shopping and Gepwin is buying his book, what are you up to?
Maybe a bit unethical, but would there be any gun shops to replace the one I had just lost?
Give me a roll I'm going to say -3 on intelligence, or perception, sorry.
I really like the idea of like, you check your gun at airport security and then walk in and buy a new one.
I'm guessing that's a bad rule.
Yeah. You don't see anything remotely applicable to this. There is, at best, a knife set on sale at one of the small shops near the security terminal, but it also has a big, do not open on, until you leave the station sort of dealy going on here.
Oh, just buy the barbecue set with the knife and tongs and spatula.
Yep.
Yeah, we could just go for a cookout.
People with a sharp spatula.
All right, well,
That'd be amazing.
Well, so yeah, that's your first bit of adventure here. Where are you guys off to next?
I'm just gonna keep tabs on what everybody else is doing as well as I can. But I'm a robot. I don't really have much in the way of interests or needs, so I'm just gonna wander around a little bit. Time is meaningless to me, so I don't get bored. Good stuff.
You will live forever. It's good stuff.
I always head towards the ship area because it looks like there's stuff around there too. And I guess keep an eye out for interesting diversions along the way since we have time.
All right. So the main way to get to the ship area is to go up the main elevator shaft there. Because the central hub section here is actually rotating, while the upper and lower parts of the station are not. So the only way to get through that red section is to actually go into the big elevator shaft area. So you guys.
All right, I'll take the elevator up then.
All right, go and move yourself over. Jar's wandered off somewhere else.
Oh, I assume I'm just following them.
All right,
Jar spaced out and just is somewhere.
you guys are
Still looking for that gun shop.
Jar needs his weapon. All right, you guys are get in the elevator, and everyone with a phone present, you get a message from Reza Khan. It's a video message of sorts.
Dun dun dun.
Buzz buzz.
So, do you answer? Do you have a look?
Yes.
Of course.
All right. So I'm going to assume you're all in the same elevator car, at least.
Yeah.
And then we all pick up our phones at slightly different times, so the videos all play the sound over each other.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll start reading the video. If you guys want to pause, go ahead and interrupt me by saying pause. So Reza Khan's face shows up on the view screen, and he starts saying, "Here's an update on the situation on Kosambi in the Colossus system, and some other useful information. First off, I've gotten a more complete report on the nature of the goings-on. The planet is a small colony operated by a Dr. Norcus and Benson. They are the local government. Confederate law is in effect, but all local matters are, basically their word is law, so remember that. The colony appears to be primarily a research effort headed by those two. The planet is covered with ruins from a long-dead civilization, which is likely why they settled the planet a couple centuries ago. 4 days ago, one of the ruins began firing a large particle beam at the star Colossus. Norcus and Benson have been shy about the nature of the assistance they're looking for, but they are seeking external help, troubleshooters, to help perform an investigation on the particle beam. Suddenly, supposedly, they have a number of personnel already working on the problem, but are afraid that they lack the expertise and ability to handle the problem in full. And they made it clear that they are fearful that this particle beam may tie into what happened to the planet sometime, in its distant past. The planet has a very thin atmosphere presently that cannot sustain complex life. However, there's a lot of evidence that this wasn't always the case. Norcus and Benson believe at some point, some 5 billion years ago, the star Colossus experienced some sort of event that caused it to expel a massive burst of material that stripped off most of the planet's atmosphere. And they're worried that the particle beam may have been related to this. However, they are not certain. So your mission is to get there, meet with their team, and see what assistance you can yield. I should note that they have made it clear that they will require you to sign an agreement stating that you will not take credit for any discoveries made while yielding your assistance. They seem quite intent on maintaining their intellectual property rights on all things related to their archaeological work, and their local laws reflect that, so be respectful and don't get any trouble there. As I mentioned while you were in the office, you'll be joining up with the rest of the team. You'll be meeting Elijah and Mel on Green Haven. They've been hanging out since their last mission. Figured they need a bit of a vacation. Green Haven is a colonial authority-run spacebound settlement in the Chromar system. Mel's mission will be different than yours, so she will not be assisting you directly until she's completed her main activities. Your transit from Elcor to Kasambi will be aboard the LCS Cairo. The captain of the Cairo is Cletus Monroe. You'll notice quickly that from his accent he was born in Mirme hockey space, but he's loyal to Lanton and is a good friend of mine. He'll get you to Kasambi and hang around for a while as well, but he won't be able to linger more than a week or two. He's got bills to pay, and my budget for his time is not as good as he gets for moving cargo and people. You'll be traveling with normal passengers up until Green Haven, so don't be surprised to not be the only ones aboard. If you end up staying long enough for the Cairo before the Cairo heads out, send me a message and I'll arrange for transit to pick you up from there. Good luck, and if anything comes up, again, send me a message. And then at the other attachment is a couple quick profiles for Elijah and Mel, the two people he mentioned that are going to be joining you.
Okie doke.
So there's your info dump for the episode.
Nice.
So you guys want to have a look at those profiles? You're gonna keep it all down low for now. All right. Well, the first profile is for Elijah Marin. He is 29. He has no gender listed. Origin is Lanton, city of Lator, which is basically where the adventure started. Status is active. Expertise, masters in archaeology, BS, and mathematics. Notes, not useful in a fight. Prone to upset stomachs in high-stress situations. Bad liar, but only seems prone to hiding unimportant embarrassments. It also contains a picture, so you know how to recognize him. Is there anything... Oh, I forgot to open his character sheet. I'll get to that in a moment. The other profile is for Melahandra Mel Dyson. Age 18, gender female. Origin, Escobar, Electric City. Status is active. Expertise, Escobar Combat School graduate. Notes, full conversion cyborg. Don't ask her to go swimming. Not pleasant to spend time with. Can't fit into small spaces. Only call her Mel. And the picture for Mel is a little bit more intimidating than you might than Elijah's by far. I'm still opening the thing jigs here, but Mel she looks scary, like really scary, like chrome jaw, constant frown scary.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Very exciting.
I might have found you a friend there, Hex.
I enjoy new friends.
She is generally not anywhere near any good for anyone's standard of beauty. For those that may have it, she is quite distant from it, you could say. And it's also very, very, very obvious she's a cyborg, or at least some sort of robotic-ish type person, given the unnatural shapes to her face. Eli, on the other hand, looks kind of like a tubby nerd guy with a kind of friendly-looking face. You know, it's like, well, you seem like an honest person. Here, take my pile of gold and make sure no one steals it. sort of a vibe you get from him. And he's smiling. So that's the people you're supposed to be meeting up with. And so that'll be the extent of the elevator trip up. So let's go ahead and try and get up to the level approximately where the spaceship's at. Wow. put you guys up here.
Okie doke.
Get
I was
off.
going to ask if we were allowed into the blue area or not, or if we had to go through the...
You'll have to go through the green area, but you can basically take the... there is transit to go from the next level down.
Right.
So, by the way, these levels, whatever, are actually quite large. Did I do the... Yeah, this is like 100 meters.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Okay.
So this is a big space station. It's, as I said, 200,000 people live here, just in general.
Right. Cool.
So you can go ahead and start moving that general direction.
Yeah.
I guess it'll take us 6 hours to walk over there.
I was going to say, yeah, we're going to kill a lot of time just traveling.
All right. In that case, are you guys going to stick together? Are you going to spread out? Take your sweet time?
I stick to my human friends.
All right. Well, I guess it
Let's all
depends
stick
on...
together and just wander.
We don't have a choice now.
All right. So, at some point, let me pull up her character sheet. Jar, someone rushes up to you and says, "Hi there, I'm Kelly Demir. Would you please come with me for a few minutes? I have something important to talk to you about."
Hi, who are you?
I am Kelly Demir. You're Scott, right?
I am? How do you know me?
I
turn my menacing large red eye towards this new person.
I'm a... let me double check something here. Yes. I am a member of the... I'm a representative for the Feltron Planet Group, and I heard about your situation. You are from a unregistered planet, correct?
That I am.
So, I don't know if you're aware, but that makes your home planet vulnerable to exploitation. And I would like to very much talk to you about preventing that. Do you have a few minutes?
I suppose I do?
All right, come on with me. And she motions towards a nearby cafe.
Don't go too far. We'll find someplace nearby in case you need us.
Will do. I'll make sure I can see you.
If you guys are interested, there is a bar across the street. Or a hallway, I guess.
Excellent.
Alright. I guess I follow her then.
All right.
We'll get
I watch suspiciously. I watch suspiciously as they go away to make sure they're actually going, where they said they were going.
Yeah.
And then once they go in there, I guess I'll go with Gepwin.
Have I heard of this planet?
I mean,
group
Simon.
thing?
Gepwin, give me a roll. Is that for your IQ? You are not going to know who these people are.
I do have local knowledge universe somewhere. I don't know if that helps.
Rib. Actually, that would be useful. Right?
I guess I also will, on a long shot, do an IQ roll.
All right.
No.
These are awful rolls.
I don't know nothing.
Yes.
Area knowledge rim. I don't believe that will be enough for you to overcome. To know who these people are. And Bill,
right.
you think these people might sell game shows, like actual game shows, like the entire thing?
Yeah,
it's very strange.
that's the only reason I trust them with my new friend. I'm just really hoping that he has a good time and wins a
As
lot.
long as they're Japanese style game shows.
Yeah.
Oh my god, no.
It's gonna get awkward. All right, Jar. She's it takes you basically into the to a table just inside the cafe, and offers you a seat. And she starts expounding about how excited she is to meet you, and she's been tasked with tracking you down, and was gleeful about just sort of stumbling across you on her way towards Lanton. So she's like, "You saved me a lot of time just by showing up here, etc., etc." And then she starts explaining how her group is interested in offering you specifically a colonial charter contract.
And what would that involve?
That's a good question. Do you know?
I guess I don't.
It's usually when you roll something.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a roll. You're gonna give me have a -3.
No.
Okay, because you're tech level. You have
my
no
goodness.
idea what this is. So do you ask her what this is?
Yeah, I ask her instantly as soon as she starts going on about it.
Oh, it's a contract that will.
Maybe we shouldn't have let him go unattended.
It's a contract that allows your planet to be incorporated into the Atlantic Confederacy as a full planetary member. This will allow Lantern to have full, responsibility to defend your planet, as well as to, have Confederate laws apply to it but it'll also allow your planet to maintain its local government as you wish. How does that sound?
I don't think I want whatever power is on this planet to be remotely involved with my home planet.
But if they are not, then there's a good chance that another planet or another nation may try to move in, and there are other folks that are much more hostile to out colonies like your own that are, well, let's say, very exploitative, and we're really concerned about this. So we had figured we'd offer up this this opportunity pro bono so that we could keep your planet safe.
Well, this isn't an agreement that would really, shouldn't be fully dependent on me. So I'm going to have to not really give you an answer right now.
All right. Well, how about this? I'll give you my contact information, and I'll be in touch. How does that sound?
It sounds reasonable to me.
All right. She pulls out her phone and offers to basically wave it at yours to exchange information.
Okay, yeah, I do still. I think I do still have my phone. It was in my pants.
All right.
All right, I guess I kind of mimic whatever she's doing awkwardly.
All right. She's like, all right, well, thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions, I'm very interested in answering them for you, because as the only known representative of your planet, in Confederate space, you are the only one who's qualified at the moment to make this decision. And the longer you put it off, the more in danger your homeworld is in. So please keep that in mind as you, consider our offer.
I definitely will consider your offer now.
She offers to shake your hand and bid adieu.
I do the same.
All right. And she then gets off to scampering off somewhere, probably to call her bosses to say what's up.
All right. I guess I just watch that happen and then scramble back over to the other two.
All right.
Little does Jar know that Handshake just signed away his whole planet to the Dutch East India Company.
Oh, God.
Dun, dun, dun. All right.
They had a photographer to take a picture of the handshake.
All right. So that little encounter didn't take too much time, but while in the you guys went off to the bar across the way, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. I don't have a map for it, but there are some interesting individuals here. There's a group of folks that seem to be wearing some sort of religious getup, and they seem to be in an argument with a group of, I believe, 5 individuals that are, let's say, they look like they're in a band.
Awesome.
The religious folks are basically expounding, it's like, you should really sign on with Rokoism, and you can help us motivate the universe towards a more just and awesome future. And the band's like, nah. You guys give me rolls to see if you've heard of these people. Either group, really.
Am I over there by now?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
I apparently have not heard of anything today.
All right.
I know about them.
Oh, Bill, I was actually going to give you a bonus, but yeah, that actually works.
Nice.
Because Mr. Khan has actually warned you about one of those two groups, the religious folks. You noted them as missionaries for Rokoism, which is a odd religion that is generally based around the idea that at some point there's going to be a supreme intelligence of some sort put together by humans or something humans create that will rule over the entire universe, and it is everyone's responsibility to make sure that happens. They're also
Interesting.
They also range from sort of friendly bake sale types to complete nut jobs. It's a very unusual faith, but there are pockets of them here, there, and everywhere throughout space.
Are they how are they generally received in most situations? Do people just kind of blow them off like these guys did, or?
They are popular on some planets, but generally they're sort of seen as kooky. So they are
Like Hare Krishnas?
kind of. They're generally ignored.
Gotcha. No disrespect to Hare Krishnas, of course.
Yeah. But with that role, you also recognize the band. That's Inverted Minds. Gepwin, you do recognize one of the people that is within that group, though, because you saw him at the Dagger Bar. That one guy in the robes that had in the corner that's sort of a red herring. Yeah, that guy.
Yes.
Just stumbled across him again. Oh, God.
What kind of band is it?
They're a quote classical modern throwback supergroup. That's it's sort of like the future version of a orchestra, except they play rock and roll music.
Gotcha.
Yes, because it's like stuff from centuries ago that we want to preserve in the cultural heritage, etc., etc. And yeah. So, you guys going to intervene in this argument at all, or going to let them do their thing?
I think I'm.
Not?
Yeah, I was thinking I'm gonna go over and my little snaky arms are gonna come out of my compartment, and I'm gonna start waving them in a shooing fashion at the missionaries, and just say bead my giant red eye down on them and say, go away, go, get out of here, go.
I still don't know who these people are. So. Well.
Gepwin, I'm going to go ahead and do a reaction roll for you. That's where would that be? Reaction rolls. They seem annoying to you, but you don't know who they are still. So.
Okay. Well, I'll go up and hello there, religious chappies. How goes spreading of the knowledge of the great space goat coming to eat the telephone repairman?
This group of 3 or 4 religious folks see you guys sort of, coming at them saying these things, and they seem rather put off, but they also realize they're becoming excessively unwelcome. And one of them turns to the band and goes, "You rue the day that you do not help us spread the good word.
Get out of go.
Okay,
Go.
I'm going. And they start heading off, and they decide to leave the bar entirely.
Enjoy the space, Rue.
Well, one of the band members, a guy that's very tall with a giant afro and a sort of Abraham Lincoln beard, stands up and offers to shake both you guys' hands and give his thanks.
I, of course, extend my weird metallic robot hand to shake his.
He's like, thank you. I was worried that they would never leave.
Always happy to help a chap out of proselytization.
Well, it's almost time for us to head out anyway. So, come on, guys, let's get going. The band starts getting up, and they seem to be, looking to maybe pay their tab and then head out.
All right, I mean, I'm not going to stop him or anything.
The guy with the afro does, hang back and say, the name's Notorious ABE. You may have heard of me.
Yes, of course. I am 6577 Hex Lug. Pleased to meet you.
I don't think I'm familiar with you specifically, but well met, sir.
I am a robot.
I've gotten that impression. So,
My name is Simon, and this is my friend who is incredibly literal.
I find him delightful. So, we're going to be heading out here, but can I maybe do something nice for you two?
Of course.
All right. He pulls a small device out of his pocket. It's basically a tiny computer is something that's usually used for, say, concert tickets, that sort of things. So basically the size of a credit card. Like, here, not sure if it'll be useful anytime, but that should get you a good discount on a concert sometime.
Many thanks.
I-
I've always enjoyed the classics.
Yeah, I happily take it.
Yeah, I'm glad you do. See you around. And he gives a little salute and then follows the rest of the band. And that's about the time Jar's coming back.
What was all that?
You missed all the excitement with the space goat robe people.
Oh,
A
man,
cult was
I'm
trying
sure
to
I
steal a band. What did you get up to?
Well, I had some interesting talk of establishing relations with my home planet. Nothing.
I didn't realize you were a diplomat.
Awkward silence follows.
For whatever it's worth, my character does not find it awkward at all. So-
Well, no decisions were made, but I do have contact information for if I do decide on anything.
Do you have authority for that?
I suspect not, which is why I made no decisions yet.
You could have scammed them out of a good deal.
Well, given she knew who I was, and I didn't know who she was, I didn't want to lead anything on.
Sounds quite fishy all around.
That's what I
Yes.
was getting from it.
I
Well,
just,
Yeah. Sorry.
yeah.
I suppose if we have nothing better to do, we should head over to the ship. I don't know how long it'll take us to get there at this rate.
Shouldn't take you
Yeah,
too-
are there like trams or are we like forced to walk?
There are moving sidewalks. There are hallways where you normally walk. There are a few trams here and there. The trams do cost a few bucks to use, but the moving walkways are free. So if you just want to hang out on one of those for a while, you can get most of the way over.
I always love
I mean,
moving
I don't
sidewalks.
mind, but yeah.
Same.
So it really won't take you anywhere near the full 6 hours to get over there.
Right.
But you want to go ahead and head over to the ship?
Why
Yep.
not?
Alrighty,
Yeah.
alrighty. So we'll go ahead and actually... did I set this up properly? There we go. I think I'll go ahead and move you guys to the docking area.
Ooh.
So, you guys arrive at the LCS Cairo docking port area, and this is sort of the scene you're presented with. There's people running around. There's like a random robot there. Alex isn't actually here yet, but he'll be along at some point, I promise. And there's a number of folks just kind of milling about. There does seem to be a guy, down kind of over here that's sort of relaxing against some boxes, but seems to be holding a, some sort of reader for like tickets for people that might be getting on board.
Okay, I guess I'll wander over to him with our paperwork.
All right.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I
I'll
just follow along.
So the guy there definitely works on the station. He's not a member of the Cairo folks at all. And he seems particularly unimpressed by you guys. Like, oh, people.
Well, the feeling is mutual.
He motions for you guys to come up, to offer up your paperwork so we can get you checked in. Who goes first?
I guess I will. Hello, good sir. Are you taking tickets for this transport?
That I am. Name?
Simon Xander III.
Are you transiting to Greenhaven?
Let's say yes, since I already forgot the name of everything.
Yeah, it's a Colossus system, whereas your final destination.
We were going to Greenhaven first.
Yes.
Okay, then yes.
Yes. All right. Do you have any checked luggage?
No.
All right. He scans your stuff, and he motions for you to head into that blue area to the right, which will lead you up to the ship.
All right, blue area.
So, one successful. Who's next?
I guess I'm going next.
I solved your airport security puzzle.
Or have you?
Name?
I guess I'm just called Scott.
Scott. No one last name?
Nope.
Interesting. Papers?
I just grab them from, I guess, folded in my pants since I lost the backpack and hand them to him.
Going to Greenhaven?
That I am.
Do you have any checked luggage?
Nope.
Are you seriously saying nope? Jar, I think since you do have common sense, it might be time to roll that. You roll
You might have said
11
nope.
on common sense. Where's the write-up for this? And your IQ is that. So you fail your common sense roll. So you
Oh boy.
so you do in fact tell him you don't have any checked luggage, and he says, "All right, head on in. Motions for you to go to the blue area." Bill.
Okay, yeah, I walk up, I hand him my paper. 6577 hex lug.
Is your owner going to be transiting you with you?
Negative.
Are you going to Greenhaven?
Affirmative.
Are you or are any of your possessions checked luggage?
Negative.
All right.
Am I
go ahead.
checked? No, I'm not checked, right?
You're autonomous robot guy.
I wasn't sure if they were going to, like, put me in overhead or something.
That is an option, but since you said
Might
no,
be cozy.
he motions for you to go in the blue area, and you guys can all board the LCS Cairo.
Wonderful.
All right, so finally, after the adventure today, well, I did give you guys an assignment, but Jar, you said you have to be going before 8, so we might not get all the way to that assignment, but I will at least get you guys on the Cairo here. Once again, Alex is missing in action, but you board coming through the little docking access part there, and you are immediately presented with a guy that does have a tri-corner hat going on here. He seems to be some sort of captain person.
Wonderful.
All right, where's my dealio for the captain here? Captain Cletus Monroe, at your service. Well, that's not what his voice sounds like. He actually has a very thick, heavy Russian accent. What else has he got going? He has a cybernetic eye that's pretty obvious. He seems quite fit, and he has a very commanding presence. Like, he's very certain he's in control here. But he welcomes you quickly to the ship, and let's say he directs this guy or gal, don't know yet, to show you guys to your quarters and welcomes you aboard.
Thank you very much, Captain Monroe.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
All right. So you guys are here pretty early, so you actually get first choice on which rooms you want. So so the guy basically directs, pick any room you like. There's only a couple of people on board, and they are in the next section. So I should also point out some of the geometry of the spaceship. It's a little funky. So you might notice that it's all seems to be one level, right?
Yes.
Well, that's not quite right. The ship actually is sort of like a stick of butter, and you guys are on the wrapper. Due to artificial gravity, you can actually have multiple different planes of orientation around a shape. So the middle of the ship is actually a cargo hold, with the living areas are on the sort of outer sides of that, the four sides there. So the red zones are actually sort of the transitions between one area and the other. There's like little handrails and things like that to help you sort of move from one to the other area without too much trouble. But inside the different sections, it's generally flat.
Okay.
I bet that feels real weird.
Yep. This also means that if you run off the left side of the map, you end up on the right. It's fun.
Gotcha.
That makes sense.
So
I'm a lot closer to the gym than I look.
Yep. So what rooms do you guys want?
Do we each get our own
Yep.
quarters? Okay.
I haven't decorated them, but you know.
Yeah. I just go into the first one. It doesn't matter. On the left.
All right, go and move yourself in. So go ahead and do that for the rest of you guys too. So. All right. That's you guys' rooms. Alex will be along at some point, but he might not get so lucky. So, so each of the rooms has a bed, a sink, a toilet, but no showers. I think I have that somewhere else. Probably. Maybe I'll figure that out later. Forgot what else I put in this thing here. Anyway, so it's tight but comfortable, and it is kind of nice to get your own room each.
It's like a cruise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guys get to live it up for the next 3 weeks, in fact. So your itinerary.
Oh, man.
Yes. So you guys gonna get comfortable, get situated. And let's see
I'll
what.
put my stuff away. Yeah.
And I'm going to roll.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I just kind of I walk into my room and just sort of awkwardly stand in the middle of it, realizing I have no use for any of this.
That is acceptable. It's a place for you to plug your power cord in.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to make a roll to see what happened to Jar's luggage. Oh, that's not good.
Okay.
It might
Okay.
be up. It might be up to Alex to see what happened to it.
I assumed it was just gone when the computer mishaps happened, so I didn't know it was still having a chance to
It
get
does.
with me.
It's remote, but you might not have it for the next adventure. We'll see what happens. All right.
Okay. As soon as
This will be
everyone
part of a
asked why I said
spin-off
that.
story called Jar's Luggage.
The adventures of a gun in a backpack rotating on a luggage carousel for 2 years.
It's like Star Wars, where the like gun in the backpack is actually the main character that just kind of gets brought along through all these adventures.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe fast forward us a little bit, if that's all right, unless you guys want to get up to any shenanigans here. At some point,
We took naps.
yeah. At some point, Alex does get on the ship, but the why and how of that I'll leave up to future us to figure out. So I got a little exposition dump here if you're interested.
Sure.
Well,
All right. The first leg of the journey is for the most part uneventful. The crew and passengers are in high spirits overall. The food is good, the entertainment options plentiful, and there's not anyone on board who seems prone to poking their nose into your business. You also notice that band I mentioned is also aboard. Surprise! Where was I?
Our new friends.
I know, right? 2 days after leaving Elcor, the Cairo docks with another hyperspace-bound space station. It's much smaller than Elcor and is attached to a planet called Jessup. The next stop comes a few days later with an even smaller station that only twice the size of the Cairo itself. A smaller station services a moon called Francesca. The next stop isn't for almost a whole week. The Cairo remains in hyperspace, following the artificially created rifts in hyperspace to quickly move between star systems. And according to the captain and crew, it is making good time by avoiding hesitating in less compressed hyperspace too long at any of the in-system transits between rifts. That came out all mangled there. Sorry. In the lounge, there's a display listing the nearest star in normal and estimated distance in either light years, in either light years or astronomical units, whichever is more useful. A few passengers seem to enjoy charting on their computers where the Cairo is and how far it's gone since they left Elcor. One evening, after dinner is served, for whatever reason, you find yourselves in a lounge at the same time as several other passengers. One of them, whom you recognize as Tandem from the rock band Inverted Minds, who I mentioned you met earlier, invites you to join him and the band for a bit of socializing. He's there with Garmachi, the drummer, and Notorious ABE, the band's main vocalist. So I'm going to go ahead and move you guys to ye old common room over here. So you're hanging out with these guys here. And
cool. Hanging out with the band.
there's like couches and TVs and things like that and whatever. So, one of them just kind of got done telling a long-winded story that didn't seem to go anywhere. But one of them asks, "You guys got any interesting stories?" And one of them gives a nod to Jar because he has to go sooner. You got anything, man?
Nothing but my fairly unique, for this planet, really, upbringing. If that is an interest to you.
Well, sure. Let's go for it. Yeah, we're interested in sharing interesting stories. Not a whole lot else to do on long voyages like this. So, yeah, tell us about yourself. Tell me about your planet.
Well, there hasn't, obviously, as I just said, there haven't been many big events in my life aside from the chance to come here. My upbringing was pretty simple and relaxed. I grew up mainly with my mother, and my father died shortly after my birth to various beasts around my planet. But there was no actual proof of what happened to him. He just sort of left one day and didn't return. So that's all that could have been assumed. I didn't have any siblings either. I just lived with my mom until leaving the planet. She was a wonderful woman. She taught me most of what I know about just surviving. She did get ill before before I had the chance to come to this planet, and that is my hope of getting back there one day to hopefully she's still fine. The illness didn't seem to be going anywhere dramatic, but it did cripple her in terms of being able to do things on her own.
Oh man, I hope she's all right. Says Garmachi.
That's my hope as well. Aside from her, though, I did have a few friends in the town I was in. The town was more of a collaborative effort of survival. I don't think I could say I had any true best friends, just close acquaintances, of course. As for what I did in the town, though, I did mainly small tasks around the town, such as keeping all the little gadgets working, like fixing minor problems with weapons, making small deliveries, retrieving small deliveries, and other minuscule tasks. So the town was definitely a group effort to stay running. And that's pretty much what I've been doing.
So I'm guessing spaceships and all that's kind of big city stuff compared to what you're used to.
Oh, easily. That was the first time I've actually seen one, was when the crew came and found our planet and took me back here.
Oh, so
well, not here, but Lambton.
Oh, you're flying like from one of those out colony type places. Wow. Keep hearing about you guys, but don't think I've ever met someone from there.
It seemed fairly normal to me, but I guess it's interesting to you.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes sometimes.
Where are you from?
Well, this is Garmachi speaking. Where's his info? Well, I am, don't let anyone here know, but I'm originally from one of the Andirect planets. Hope you forgive me if I don't actually give the exact name because they keep changing. It's really kind of annoying. But I spent most of my time on the planet Aradas, and I spent some time in the military before I picked up music and joined the band. I do got a story about that if you're interested.
Oh, of course.
Right. By the way, Jar, if you need to run, feel free to sort of pop out short notice. I just want to make sure we got to your stuff first.
Yeah, that's good. I have like 20 minutes-ish.
All right. So Garmachi then starts telling his tale. I didn't always play the drums. During the Great Core War, I was drafted and turned into a medic of all things. Wasn't a good one, but hey, I saved a few lives, I think. It wasn't my job to rebuild people, just to make sure they could be rebuilt. The rest of my unit was filled with actual medical professionals, which was kind of useful. Some of them were pretty cool. A month after the disaster, that was the GURPS Campaign, my unit was called in for a award ceremony. Pretty much everyone was to be given some medals. It had become a tradition of sorts that anyone receiving medal would actually get two, with the expectation that the unearned medal would be either refused outright for respect for the dead, or passed on to the families of someone that was lost. And usually the more prestigious the medal, is the one you surrender. Real sweet, yes, but let's just say that after the 15th idiot in line before me gave a long speech to make this demonstration, I was a little peeved. Plus, it was kind of slap in the face in some ways. I felt that, why don't they just give the medals to the people who deserve it posthumously in the first place? So, when I finally got up there, and do note that beforehand they don't tell you what you're getting, so I was like, I'll probably get a couple commendations and then a really impressive medal or something like that. So I get up there, and they award me the direct star, and only the star. If you're not familiar with the anti-direct awards, this is kind of a big deal. Like, not quite top level, but pretty close. And no, I did not deserve it. This was ridiculous that they even give me this pageantry medal to pass on to somebody. But they did give me it's like the third most prestigious honor in the Alliance. The expectation that I refuse it and hand it off to somebody I knew, and I did know a few people that probably deserved it more than me. But, well, I just thanked the fleet admiral who had given it to me, and then I went and sat down. I got a few ahems as I went, but I did not stop. The next day, I got called to my SO's office for a little bit of talking to about respect and disrespect. And he asked me if I had anything to say. I asked if I could speak freely and got to go ahead. I think my exact words were, if the brass wants to award the dead with honors, they can do it themselves. I'm tired of burying their bodies and having to be the only one who pays respects. And I'm not alone there. Please fix this. And a few months later, I was at another awards ceremony. One of my friends was up. Unlike how it had been before, there were actually honors given to those killed in action. And no more of the sappy proxy pageantry. And that felt better. So, yeah, I'm not prone to talking about my time in the service, but I'm kind of proud about that moment. And I guess that's more important than maybe where I'm from as far as places go. So, yeah. And Garmachi, who wants to go next? He'll nod at you.
Yes, I could.
All right. And then he nods at you, Gepwin.
Oh, I do have a few stories, but many of the interesting ones are of a younger man in a much, much different life than the one I lead now. I, too, was something of a soldier. I didn't fight in the wars. I did work for many private military organizations as a freelance gun for hire, you might say. Oh, my most memorable mission was Advanced Scout. Myself and a partner were sent out as Advanced Scout to one of the older unregistered worlds where a colony had been set up many, many years ago, but had lost contact, and we were sent to see if there was anyone left in the colony, and if there were, to negotiate resource rights for one of the larger mining consortiums. What I didn't expect was, when we arrived, it was a paradise planet. The temperatures never rose too high or too low. Most of the fauna was edible. There were no large predators, very few diseases. It was really quite a paradise world, and the people there, though they must have come with technology, it had since fallen into such disrepair from lack of use that they were mostly farmers, but the climate was such that it really did not take much of their time to feed themselves. Now, since we were an advanced unit, we spent a few months on this planet. We had more time than we anticipated, and we wound up living in a small village in which we were accepted fairly readily. Now, I lived there for several months and made many friends. I won't go into too many details because, as idyllic of a life as it can be on a paradise world, it is fairly boring to hear one talk about days spent wandering around sunny beaches and eating strange exotic alien fruits. But one day, I wandered farther from the village than I had. I'd heard rumors that there may have been some old ruins from a long dead civilization, and I wanted to see. We'd been there about 3 months at this point, and it had completely slipped my mind that we were to be checking in with our off-world teams. Now, I got a little lost and was life in the village longer than I expected, but on my way back I could tell that something was somewhat wrong. I started to smell smoke, and I saw fires raising from the area of the village. I broke into a run, and when I got close by, I saw that there was a large mining consortium ship that had landed nearby. The village was in flames. Many of the people were running and screaming. It was quite the opposite of the idyllic vision of this village that I'd come to know and expect. Without really thinking, I pulled my weapon and was just about to open fire on the people who were setting fire to the village when one of them called me by name, and I recognized it as my commander and the one who held my contract for this mission, and he just congratulated me on such a successful recon and leading them straight to the village. It took me a minute to remember that I had not turned off my locator when we arrived, and since I had not checked in, I believe they came in guns firing. I was too shocked to know what to do then. The village that I'd lived for several months was destroyed, and my life in the military was more or less over. That was the last private contract I took for mining consortiums. Since then, I've dedicated myself to more naturalistic and exploratory missions. But I will always try to remember my time in that little village and how one mistake of not turning off a transmitter can change so many people's lives.
The reaction from the trio is they're flabbergasted and shocked. In fact, Tandem is like, wow, that's horrible, man. He looks to the others in the group, and they, sort of gives them a nod. We should, do some awareness campaigns to let people know that this kind of crap goes on.
You are military men. We all have these terrible memories we have to carry with us.
Yeah, Garmachi nods. Yeah, there's definitely some things I'd like to forget. Notorious ABE is like, well, Simon, I'm gonna be with you. I'm gonna lay it to you straight. If you never need anything, like get some word out about this kind of stuff, you have my card there. Feel free to give me a poke through it. All right?
Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes. Notorious then looks over to Tandem and is like, well, I know Tandem always has some crazy stories to maybe lighten the mood. You got one? And he's like, I'm not sure I should give my story at this point because that's some pretty heavy crap right there. But if you guys are interested, he kind of motions to you three.
Oh, I could always use something to lighten the mood. Do forgive. I fall into these remembrances and don't, fail to read the room sometimes. So please feel free to lighten the mood.
No, it's fine, man. It's this. I have to thank you for telling me the story. This, I know it's very important for you, and I just don't want to, be trampling on your memory there and the message you're giving for us today. So I want to give that as my respects here.
I appreciate that, but the light must live with the dark. We all should remember that There's a good time for every bad in this universe.
Well, how about this? I got a story that's good for the mood, but was bad for me at the time. How about that?
Sounds like an amusing tale.
All right. Let's see another tale of woe about me. Let's see. So, I guess there was that time I got thrown off of a mountain. Yeah, it really should have killed me. So it all began years and years ago. I was at the biggest gig of my life up until that point. For legal reasons, I'll leave out which festival this was, but trust me, it was huge. I was rocking and tearing crap up. Good times. It was a blast. I can remember some of it. So after the show, one of the organizers invited me up to a party with a bunch of the other musicians. It was being held at the home of one of the big names from one of the other acts. Again, forgive me for not giving names. Just know that he was one of the gods of rock locally and pretty well known off-world too. His place was this bizarre mansion on top of a mountain, hence the mountain. Real up in the cloud stuff. But even then, I think the people back at the festival grounds, I think we could hear them, even though they're like 100 kilometers off, and more to the point, I think they could hear us when the party really got started. I honestly forgot how long the party had been rocking. Seems like an eternity. Maybe like, I don't know, a few weeks maybe. I actually honestly lost track of time. I honestly can't remember everything. But I do remember this bit. And I'm pretty sure I saw the sun rise and set a few points. Anyway, at one point, I started flirting with this lady. Early 20s, beautiful, a real come-hither attitude, and as one might expect, I woke up the next morning with her by my side in one of the bedrooms of the mansion. What I didn't realize was this was actually her room. What more, when I woke up, I was greeted by the scowl of a 10-foot-tall, angry skull crusher of a guy I recognized immediately as the dude who owned the house. Needless to say, I'm glad the drop off the balcony was only 10 meters. What I was less happy about was that I tumbled another 100 or so, I think, down into a ravine before I came to a stop. And that, my friends, is how I got tossed off a mountain and had to get 3 of my limbs replaced. So, reactions?
Wow.
Hexlug is like utterly silent. So,
yeah, this does get some chuckles from the other two members of the band as well. Tandem then looks at you, Bill, Mr. Hexlug there. He's like, "How about you? You've seemed like quite the unusual model there. Do you have any interesting tales of adventure or woe to tell us this evening?"
So my giant illuminated red eye kind of flicks maybe a little nervously between everybody that's been telling stories so far. And I hesitate and then say, most of my stories involve hunting humans. You do not want to hear them.
The band members look at each other a bit concerned, but also very curious now. Notorious says, "So are you a military robot?"
Affirmative.
"And you're hanging around with these guys?"
Affirmative.
They continue to exchange confused but curious looks. "All right, there's got to be a story there somehow," says Notorious.
I would rather not share.
All right. Bill, are you going to bow out from storytelling, or shall I prod harder?
You can prod as hard as you want. I think it would be against his inclination to tell any story because they're all literally about hunting human beings.
All right.
So,
So
especially after like a series of war stories.
yes. All right. The group will.
In fact, I think after that point, I'll probably just like be utterly silent, and only the illumination of his eyeball will indicate that he's even still on.
Well, in that case, the trio of musicians exchange a few more looks, and then one of them says, "Hey, Notorious, don't you got an interesting story? Maybe something not about humans or murdering them?" He's like, "Yeah, I think I got one. You guys want to hear it?" He looks to you three.
Of course.
Well, if we don't get to hear about human hunting, I suppose.
Well, maybe you guys can talk about that in your own time. But I got an interesting tale. So, this story is a story that's not about me. It's not about myself. But it's one I got from my late great-great-grand aunt. Saints protect her soul. So she used to work on a ship when she was young. Never could tell if she was in charge of the fusion reactor or the cook. Possibly both. The ship she was on was exploring planets beyond the rim about 400 or 500 years ago. And beyond the rim, I really do mean beyond the rim, like beyond today's rim. So way out there. They were on a university contract to search for intelligent life. And you could say they found something. As is often the case with these things, nothing alive, but still something. So in hyperspace, there is some bleed over for gravity. So to some extent one can tell where these stars are, but not so much planets where they're at, as their effect from the planets is just too weak to bleed on through, at least in any noticeable capacity. So before ships like that could get to close to a star system, they pop out of hyperspace to have a look around, make sure where all the planets are at, so they don't just suddenly pop out right in front of one. One day, the ship pops out of hyperspace and starts doing their survey of a star. As they do, they spot something relatively nearby. Turns out it was another spaceship. A big one. And no, it wasn't like the one that attacked Earth 1,000 years ago, not in the least. But still, it was massive. Huge. They managed to sort of dock with it, and got to exploring. They investigated for months. The interior was open to vacuum, so they had to go in suits. A real hassle. And they had a limited budget of supplies, and were already nearing the point where they need to turn back to home base. They got a lot of data, and she mentioned 3 things that stood out to her. First off, the bodies of the aliens. They were crazy 4-legged things with 2 spindly little arms, kind of like you, Hexlug. And not like Mr. Eyebot, More of a larger body, essential, for what she's showing me in the pictures. And what you'd call their heads also clearly didn't serve the same function or purpose as ours. They were still really short, as she said. Kind of odd looking, you could say. The second thing that stood out to her was the ship seemed to be a generation ship. A thing that had been built to ferry these guys between the stars without going into hyperspace. So they were taking the long way to get around. And something happened. The third thing that kind of she wanted to, she mentioned that in the middle of the ship, they found some sort of weird shrine, and it made her very uncomfortable to be in it. Probably because most of the bodies in there had died before whatever happened to disable the ship and kill all aboard. There was also a central pedestal with this weird black cube upon it that was giving off a fair bit of radiation. They found the shrine near the end of their time there, so couldn't dig too much more into the info about what it was all about. But she did tell me that it was still gave her nightmares centuries later, her time visiting that shrine. Supplies running low, they left the beacon on the wreck and headed back into hyperspace, dropping a second one there. Dropping the beacon in hyperspace, that is. After resupply, they headed back to do more investigating of the ship. But they didn't find the dang thing. They found the beacon in hyperspace, but not the ship on the other side. And then, so, they looked around, for months, in fact. But no, the thing had just up and vanished. Still kind of freaks me out thinking about it. There might be things like that all over space. Makes you really think. And Notorious brings his story to a close. And Jar is needing to head out, so toodles, Jar. And unless there's anything else you guys want to discuss with Mr. Notorious here, that's the end of his story.
Reminds me of the tales of the old ghost ships of Earth.
Can't say I'm familiar with those.
This travelers on ancient oceans would see ghostly ships or find ships abandoned with the crew gone, no indication of what happened, as if they all simply just walked into the sea. And ships would sail empty for years of time, and sometimes would appear out of the fog or moor themselves at docks years later. And it's one of the great mysteries of the early times of exploration.
Wow, that is pretty freaky. Well, it's getting late, says Garmachi. I think I'm going to turn into a pumpkin. No, I'm going to go to bed. So, it's good nice hanging with you guys. I think our stop's coming up in a couple days, but it's been nice hanging with you. And
it's been very nice getting to know you all.
I remember, Mr. Simon here. We're gonna discuss some things with the rest of the band, and maybe we can get some an awareness campaign of some of the stuff that goes on out there. I sometimes hear rumors, but I've never met someone who has first-hand knowledge of that kind of crap. So, so thank you very much.
Well, I'm going to be kept quite busy on my current mission, but I will definitely be in touch.
All right. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. And with that, the band gets up and heads to bed. Is there any last-minute things you want to do before in your evening this day?
No, I'm just going to go back and plug myself in.
It's getting late for an old guy like me.
All right. In that case, I think we're going to bring today's adventure to a close. You guys are traveling between the stars on a ship in hyperspace. Alex is probably on board. We'll find out next time. He might have gotten left behind with Jar's luggage, but don't worry. I do plan on his bag showing up at some point. It's going to be I'm going to make sure it's interesting where it shows up. How about that?
I fully expect it to be like retconned as to what he was doing, and we knew where he was and stuff, but I like the idea that he just disappeared on the elevator and we just didn't care. Just went on without him.
Well, he must have surely gotten stuck on the other side of security,
Yeah.
A guy like that, maybe he got in trouble with checking his luggage and, had to get interrogated for a few days, that sort of thing.
Yeah, no big deal.
All right. You guys have any last-minute questions or anything before we sign off here, or you good to go?
Don't think so.
Nope, I'm good.
All right, cool. Then thank you very much, everybody watching the stream or on the recordings. Let's do the sign-off. Jar has already left, the master of the Ozu. There's me, the DrIzixs sort of folks here. And then we got Gepwin, who you're sliming some ranchers these days, right?
Yes, Slime Ranchers. I also seem to be competing with Bill on that new Opus Magnum game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I go check you guys' videos out. Hey guys, people watching this, go check out their videos on this stuff. It's pretty sweet. They're both really good YouTubers. And then we got Bill, who is also doing the Opus Delios, and is also competing with me to be the most horrible CK2 player in the universe, I think, right?
Yep.
Yes. All right. So, thank you much for joining me, guys. And,
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks for putting up with my craziness here. My awkward go through security episode. But
if only we had a bureaucracy montage to go along with it.
Oh, that's what Alex is going to be enjoying. Don't worry about that. I'm going to
getting papers stamped, filling out forms, finding out he filled out the wrong form.
Someone tries to give him this bag that's not his, but yeah, he'll take it anyway.
He only gets to be in the next game after he wins papers, please.
Yeah, there we go.
Groovy. So, until next, everybody. Turtles. Woohoo!
See ya.
Yes, and I'll let my